Hey everyone, and welcome to our Epic Expert Interviews. Today we have with us Max Allen, General Manager for Cryomedspa Durango. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Happy to be here.
So, Max, let's start with a brief description of Cryomedspa and how it got started.
So, Cryomedspa is a health and wellness med spa. We offer medical, non-medical, and some specialty services here. It got started. Our owners, Tom and Elizabeth Lutz, started up Cryomedspa because Elizabeth was traveling to the East Coast a bunch, and she found a Restore Hyper Wellness and Cryotherapy facility there, where she could do some self care outside of work and take care of herself in with some quick modalities, some quick services, and feel better after the jet lag, boost her energy, just make herself feel better in general after those trips to the East Coast that she was doing, every week. So she wanted to bring these modalities to the Durango community to really give accessible and affordable care to people trying to feel better. And those are people who are sick, weekend warriors, the people who are just trying to feel better after a long bike ride or a workout. A lot of new mothers are using it to strengthen their pelvic floor. We have a number of different modalities here to help people with a range of different ailments. And we get to choose, 3 to 4 services that we think can help them. And a lot of these services can be used in conjunction with others on the same day. So you can come in, get 2-3 different services, be in and out of the door a lot of times within an hour. So making those accessible, affordable healthcare options a reality here in Durango.
That's great. And you just said you guys have a whole host of wellness services. For people that don't even know, let's just start with cryotherapy. What does that entail so people can have a little bit more information and understanding what it's all about?
Sure. So cryotherapy, we offer 3 different services with our cryotherapy. And the way that we run it is we're using liquid nitrogen to supercool air. Okay, and all of these 3 different services. So we have a whole body cryo chamber, which is great for whole body inflammation reduction. It's an endorphin release. It's a metabolism boost. It's a 3-minute service. You're in and out the door in about 5 minutes, and you're feeling really good getting out of there, even though it is a very cold service. Some people get a little freaked out about the cold, but since it is so quick, it's really a modern day version of an ice bath. So the 3 minutes in our whole body cryo is equivalent to a 20-minute ice bath. So it's much quicker, and you get all of those benefits. We also offer local cryotherapy, so we can actually spot treat different parts of the body. Say you have a recent or acute injury, a recent surgery, arthritis in the hands, plantar fasciitis in the feet. We can spot treat those areas with our local cryotherapy. So your whole body is not getting that cold treatment. But if you're really working on one part of your body, it's really incredible stuff. And we also do a facial with it. So it's helping promote collagen production, reducing pore size, firming up your skin. And that's about a 12-minute service. And it's just really lovely to lay back and have somebody pamper you for a little bit.
Well, let's talk about some of the other services too. Now, you're talking about weekend warriors and people doing some traveling. I personally have been there for some IV therapy. So, why don't you talk about the IV therapy and the IM injections?
Yeah, so the IV therapy and the IM injections are part of our medical service tier. And another thing that goes into that is hyperbaric oxygen therapy. But IV drips and intramuscular shots specifically, we have a very a very long list of nutrients that we can give in IV drips or intramuscular shots. The great thing about IV drips and intramuscular shots is those nutrients are 100% bioavailable to your body. So you're getting all of those intravenously, right? A lot of supplements that we take orally are only 25% bioavailable. So 75% of those are just going straight through us. So the IV drips and intermuscular shots are a great way to get those nutrients and let your body really absorb them right from the beginning. The real difference between the IV drips and the intermuscular shots is the IV drip, you're getting a liter of fluid. So there's great hydration there. But for somebody who's on the go, they just want to stop in quickly, get some B vitamins, up their energy, get some biotin, help with their hair, skin, nails, whatever it might be, you can come in the door and be out the door in 5 minutes, because we either put those in the hip or the arm. So that's a really nice option for people just trying to get those nutrients.
It also says that you do micronutrient testing, blood tests. So do you do that before so that people know what they should be looking for in their IVs and shots? Or is that something that you do ongoing, monitoring how those are being helpful to their body?
Yes, ideally you do the it's a blood draw. Our micronutrient test is a blood draw, and you would do that before you got your drip. You don't have to necessarily. It's taking those nutrient samples from the white blood cells. So a drip won't really affect that if you do the drip right before you do your micronutrient test. But we get a list of 52 nutritional components back that we can tell what you're deficient in. We can tell what you're good in, right? So that we can actually customize drips here. We do have a drip menu that we have some nutrients that work really well together, but we can customize drips here so that you can really write those deficiencies in what you need in your body. It also gives you a list of nutrients that you need to get from your diet. And we have a nutritionist who works here as well that has worked with some of our clientele to talk about how they can get those nutrients from their diet, from the food that they're eating, from the liquids that they're drinking. So it's a really cool test. And you can actually get that for free here if you buy a 10-pack of drips. So a lot of people like to do that. So they get their micronutrient test for free, and then they get 10 drips to build up some of those deficiencies. And at the end, a lot of people like to do another micronutrient test to see where they're at after that.
So you also mentioned part of the medical tier, the hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So what are some of the benefits of that? And who would use that? Like what's that for?
Yeah, sure. So the hyperbaric oxygen, it's you're getting 90 to 95% oxygen through a mask at pressure. Okay, so you're at 1.4 atmospheric pressures, which is equivalent to 9 feet below sea level. So when we pressure up our chamber, that oxygen doesn't even necessarily need to go through your lungs for your cells to absorb it because you're at that pressure, right? So oxygen is a great healer. So folks recovering from cancer are using it. Cancer hates oxygen. Any sort of autoimmune, oxygen is great for that as well. Any sort of neurological disorders or concussion, it's being used by people to help heal that. And then athletes are using it as well for a bit of a performance enhancer. It's a 75-minute service. It's really 60 minutes for the treatment, but there's a pressure up and a pressure down phase that we don't take into account in that 60 minutes. So we add 15 minutes there for that. And then you can, after your first time, you can actually up that to 90 minutes. So you can be in there for up to 90 minutes. You could technically live in our hyperbaric oxygen chamber. You wouldn't necessarily want to, but it's one of our most popular modalities here. The people who are using it absolutely love it, and they're getting great benefit from it.
Have you used it? Have you used it? Can you explain what it feels like? I mean, it seems like it's like, NASA astronaut stuff where like you're going to get all this enhancement and you're sitting in this chamber, it's like kind of a little bit futuristic. So if you've used it personally, could you tell us a little bit more about what people might feel and experience from it?
Yeah. So there is, you get into a chamber. It's a soft shell chamber, right? So you hop into that, then we zip it up on a couple of different levels. And then we turn on the oxygen, we turn on the pressure, and it blows up, and it gets to about double the size of what it looks like when it's deflated just out there. And it is kind of cool, futuristic looking in there. You do feel like you're in a bit of a space pod. you know, some folks who think who are claustrophobic don't really like it. But when they actually get in there, there's plenty of room to move around in there. And then you strap a mask to your face, and you can bring your computer in there. So for somebody who's really busy and wants to do work, but also spend a little time on self-care, they can bring the computer in there. You can bring your phone in there, play games, listen to music. A lot of people just use it for a nap time. And that's typically what I recommend for the self-care portion of it, just using it as a nap time, and just getting the benefits of all that oxygen entering your system. Because the air that we're breathing here in Durango is 17% oxygen. The majority of the rest of the air that we're breathing is nitrogen, and then there's some others in there as well. But you know, you're going from 17% to 90 to 95%. So you can imagine the effects of that has on your body.
Oxygen enhanced power naps.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and you mentioned that cancer cells do not like oxygen, which, you know, is something that I've researched personally, having had a lot of that in my family. So talk a little bit maybe about the staff and how they interact with people, help people decide, you know, what services might be right for them.
Sure. So the way our staff is broken down, we have wellness technicians who are here to set up people in all of our services. A number of our services, we're actually overseeing that treatment. Some others you just get in and there's nobody around. There's a few of our services where you're in the nude and you have complete privacy and you just get to hang for that treatment. We also have ER nurses on staff. Don't have to be ER nurses, but ER nurses are really good at finding veins. They're really good at multitasking, you know, and really caring for our customers. So what happens when you're a first-time customer here? You walk in, and one of our first questions when we're starting to talk about the services and modalities are, what are your pain points? What are we working on here? What are we trying to help you fix here? And after they tell us, we try and choose 3 services to really focus on that we really think are going to help them out. So then we give them a tour. We show them those 3 services. If they want to learn more about our other services, we're happy to do that as well. But you know, there's typically 3 services that can really help people out. So we focus on those. And a lot of times there's a loading dose for somebody coming in. And then after that loading dose, we can talk about maintenance sessions after that. So we come in, we really try and knock down the inflammation, get your nutrients right, you know, and then after that, then we can move in, like I was talking about, that maintenance phase. And maybe you don't have to come in quite as often, but a lot of times early on, we're going to try and get you in here a few times a week for the first 2 or 3 weeks at the very least, because that's just where we see the best benefit for a lot of our modalities.
I also see compression therapy on your website, and I haven't personally heard of that other than seeing it on your services. So is that similar to the hyperbaric chamber, but just smaller, or is that a completely different modality?
It is completely different. So we have leg, hip, and arm attachments that we plug into our machine. We have Normatec compression sleeves. They are known to be the best on the market. So it's using focused pressure to help move your circulatory system, right? And help drain your lymphatic system. So if you've gone for a big workout, a long bike ride, a long hike, or you had a long car ride, or your job is sitting at a desk for all day, this is really good at getting those fluids moving through your body and helping you decrease your soreness and decrease that recovery time. You can recover faster from using these. I personally love to use the leg compression sleeves while I'm getting a drip. 1, they just feel really, really good. It's like a leg massage. 2, it helps get those fluids moving through my body as I'm getting the drip. So that's a really nice pairing. Those go anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes. So you can spend as little or as much time as you want in those. You can do the legs and the arms together. You can do the hips and the arms together. You just can't do the legs and the hips together at the same time. So some people do the legs and the arms together, and they're just kind of laid out, but it's really nice. You just get to lay back and chill.
And I love that, you're focused on wellness. We've done a couple other interviews with some other people, and we talk about how a lot of times in Western culture, we kind of just identify health as the absence of disease or the absence of symptoms, whereas you're really going after, the wellness factor. So can you talk a little bit about that, and maybe, what the owners had in mind when they started adding different services? And I think you're also expanding. So what are some of the things that you might be offering in the future too?
So to answer your first question, a lot of this is for recovery, right? But it doesn't have to just be used for recovery. A lot of it is prevention. So that's one thing that micronutrient test can do for the IV drips. It can prevent future chronic illness if you are getting all those nutrients into your system. The whole body cryo, inflammation is kind of the word of the day right now for a lot of different illnesses, autoimmune stuff. And we have a number of different modalities that help knock down inflammation. So a lot of it is, yes, to recover, but if you're using this stuff on a consistent basis, and we can talk to you about what our recommendations would be, and you use these modalities with our recommendations, you are going to prevent a lot of things, a lot of ills happen in the future. So it's a really fun place to be, because we can see people walk in, poor body language, they're not happy, they're not smiling, and they use our services, and you see this change in them. They're standing up straighter, they're smiling, they're excited to come back. So it's very rewarding for us every day to see people have those benefits from our services. And we're not necessarily done here with like you said, Lori, adding services here if we see the benefit to our clientele. So I think a couple of the modalities that we are thinking about incorporating and will likely come soon. We have a couple of aesthetic services. So we have cryo skin already, which is we can do a facial, a toning, or a slimming. But along those lines, we will likely include hydrofacial and whole body hydrotherapy. So that's one thing that's coming down the pike. And then assisted stretch. So it's not a massage at all, but I've actually done a couple of the assisted stretches, and they are really nice. You just get to lay back on a table and somebody else is stretching you out. So those are a couple of the other modalities that will likely come to Cryomedspa here soon.
One of my favorite modalities is infrared sauna. So I know you guys have one of those as well. So that's kind of like the opposite, right, of cryo. It's like using more heat, and infrared. So can you talk a little bit about that?
I also love our infrared sauna. It's one of the services I like to use most here. So as opposed to a traditional sauna where you're getting the benefits anywhere from 180 to 220 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's just heating the air around you. And I know when I'm in one of those at 200 degrees, it's like 20 minutes max I can sit in that. So our infrared sauna, you get the benefits anywhere from 115 degrees to 158 degrees. And that infrared light is actually heating your body up. So it's heating what is inside of the booth. So you can sit in there for longer because it's at lower temps. So the way I like to use it is I started out at 130 and I bump it up to 150 right when I get in there. So it slowly increases in temperature. And I spend about 45 minutes. Sometimes I can't make it 45 minutes, but I spend about 45 minutes in there each time. And that's the max dose. So 30 to 45 minutes is where you're going to get the best benefits from that. It's a lovely service. There's a couple things I've mentioned pairings a couple times, and different ways that we can help people benefit the most. So the infrared sauna is great on its own. But if you're dealing with any skin conditions, eczema, psoriasis, anything like that, we always recommend going from the whole body cryo to our infrared sauna, because that's going to be the best benefit for the skin. If we're talking about reducing inflammation, I'm trying to get people into our photobiomodulation lights. We call it PBM for short, or just light therapy, because photobiomodulation is quite the mouthful. But it's really great for your skin as well. It's using red and near infrared light. The red light is just absorbed into your skin, so it's great for general skin health, reducing scarring. And then it's also, the near infrared light is working at a cellular level. So it's getting into your cells, your joints, your tissues, your muscles to help reduce inflammation. It's got a number of other benefits, but I always say to go from the PBM into our whole body cryo, because you're getting a double dose of skin benefit, double dose of reduction of inflammation. So that's that first question that I ask people, what are your pain points? What are we working on here? And then we can start to pair these things together for the best benefit.
So tell us a little bit. So you're the general manager. What's your background and what got you interested in wanting to work in the wellness field like this?
Yeah, so my background has nothing to do with health and wellness. I was born and raised in Durango, graduated from DHS in 2006, went up to school at CU Boulder, studied finance. And then once I graduated, I got a job with the football program at CU, and I worked in recruiting and operations. Worked there for 3 years, got a job at the University of Iowa, working for their football program, and basically the same role. And one thing that I didn't get from those roles were really helping people reach their potential or feel better. My role at Iowa was I was running our social media, I was doing our recruiting graphic design, and I was our team photographer. And although, the kids loved getting the graphics, they loved getting the photos of them, there were other roles in the Iowa football program that I really wanted, but I was not able to obtain. And one of those roles was our player development role. And that was working with our team and community service, and their academics and those kinds of things. And I just wasn't getting the satisfaction from the job of helping people. And so I started looking around, and then of course COVID hits, right? And so everything just kind of fizzled out. And then I got a call from Sherry Fippen, who's one of our owners here as well. And I grew up with her son. And for some reason, she thought of me to come in here and manage the place. And I met Tom and Elizabeth, and we got to know each other over Zoom. And I got the job and started in October. And like I was saying before, every day is rewarding because I see that we are helping people here. We're helping them feel better. We're helping them get back on their feet. We're helping them get back to work. We're helping them get back on their bike, on their skis, whatever it might be that they want to do. We help with that. And it's been an awesome position to be in. And, helping out the people in my hometown community has been just great.
Sounds like they made a good choice. You're very well versed in everything you're talking about and explaining.
It took a while.
Yeah,
it took a while. It's like a whole new vocabulary, but it's been awesome. It's been really great.
Yeah, it's fascinating though, isn't it? I mean, for me personally, there's something about the human body that it just fascinates me, finding out all of this information about nutrition, about things working on a cellular level, the mitochondria, how it's affected by not just what we eat, but our entire environment and all the things that our body has to deal with.
And that we have the opportunity to be in charge of our own health and wellness. And, the body runs pretty much 24/7 without a lot of input from us. So when we do take advantage of all the things that practices have to offer, then we really can jumpstart and improve and maintain that health and well-being.
Definitely.
Can you tell
This
us?
this is a great place to do it.
Yeah, and you guys actually have memberships, right? So can you tell us a little bit about the membership philosophy?
Yeah. So we are membership based. You do not have to be a member to use our services here, but it makes a lot of financial sense to become a member because you're saving so much money. So we have 3 different membership options. 2 of them include our non-medical services, which are cryotherapy, that's whole body local facial. That's photobiomodulation lights, infrared sauna, compression therapy, and then one thing we haven't mentioned is our salt therapy. So we have an option. Our Thrive membership is either 2 or 4 services a month, depending if you get a singles or a couples. And then we have our daily membership, which includes all of those modalities that I just said. And you get 30 to 60 credits a month, whether you're in a singles or a couples. So we have a number of daily members here who come in every single day, or they come in once every other day and use multiple services. That's definitely by far the best value for our services, and you're going to get the most benefit for your body getting a daily. Then we also have our wellness membership, which is our medical tier, and that includes hyperbaric oxygen therapy and IV drips. So we have that option as well for folks really wanting to focus on those modalities there. And then we have 3 different specialty services that are not a part of a membership, and that's the cryo skin that I mentioned before. We do the facial and toning. The only difference between the facial and toning is neck up and neck down. But that's helping increase collagen production, reducing pore size, firming up the skin, a lot like our local cryotherapy, but it takes it up a notch. And then we also offer a slimming with our cryo skin, which uses apoptosis. It's programmed cell death, and we can freeze away fat cells. And then there's a number of different modalities that we like to pair with that to get the best benefit. And then we have Mcella and Msculpt. They both run off the same machine. The Mcella is a chair that you sit in, and it uses electromagnetic pulses to help stimulate your muscles, and it's strengthening the pelvic floor. So anyone dealing with incontinence, sexual dysfunction, a lot of new mothers are using this to help strengthen their pelvic floor. And then we have our Msculpt, again, using those electromagnetic pulses. We have hip and glute attachments, and we have arm and calf attachments. And those are people who are trying to get their body ready for summer. Those are also people who have lower back pain, who need to strengthen their core. We have a couple customers who have separated abdomen, so they're not actually able to do the sit-ups. They're not able to do the workouts that can strengthen that back up. And I was not a believer in this Msculpt. I was like, you're telling me I can just lay it on a table and put this paddle on my stomach and I'm going to get stronger? Well, I did a loading dose series of 4, and without doubt, my core got stronger, and I've done monthly maintenance sessions from that point on. So it's those 3 are not a part of our memberships, but they are very cool modalities that are helping people lose weight, tighten up their skin, and grow new muscle fiber.
Which is fabulous because, it's not necessarily always about appearance. If like you said, if there are people who, let's say there's a pregnant mom and and her abdomen, that muscle separates, and they can't do it, or there are other reasons that they can't participate in more strenuous core building activities, that's a fabulous option for those people.
It really is. And this stuff works too. It's not all frou-frou. It's my dad he doesn't believe in hardly anything, but he's got arthritis in his hands, right? And or he's getting a little bit older, so he's got some aches and pains. He comes in for the local and the whole body, and after his first local that we did on his hands, he felt better right away and felt better for a couple, 2, 3 weeks. Some of this stuff is not going to be a fix necessarily, but it is going to help you feel better. And if you use it on a consistent basis, it's going to continue to help you feel better. So for those non-believers out there, come and try us out, and we will make you a believer. I believe in everything that we do here.
So tell everybody how they can learn more. You guys have a website packed with lots and lots of information. So give them your website and any social media and how they can get in touch with you and come on down to check out your services.
Yeah, excellent. So our website is cryomedspadarango.com. And like Lisa said, there is a lot of information on there. And I know when I first got the job here, it was a little overwhelming, all of the information, all the verbiage, all the words. They didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So that's a great place to start. But I would love to get, if anybody has more questions, get you in the door. And we can really talk more specifically about the services that we think could help you out. You'll also see some specials and some promotions on our social media. So we're on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is Cryomedspa Durango. Instagram is Cryomedspa_Durango. So that's a good place to find some of the specials and promotions that we're putting out there. And if you ever want to schedule a tour, no pressure to sign up. We just want to show you around. Give us a call, 970-247-4113. And we can set that up for you and show you, a few services or all of them, whatever you think would be the best benefit for you. So we're always here to give those tours, educate people more, and really give them a more in-depth look at what we're doing here.
We love the education piece here at E.P.I.C, and we definitely share that value of like what we consider true prevention. So we're so glad that you're bringing this to the Durango community. Thank Tom and Elizabeth for us, and thank you so much for the time that you spent with us today, Max.
Yes, thank you, Lori. Lisa, this was awesome, and hopefully we can get you guys back in here again soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Max. Again, visit them at cryomedspadarango.com. And for more information on E.P.I.C, go to epicconsciousliving.com. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.